Hey everybody, what is my chart of the year? Well, to answer that question, I'm going back to February to a chart fight I had with the Register. So this is my favourite chart of the year just because of the things it put into my mind. Look at that. It's a vomit of colour. It's like Jackson Pollock, right? What is the chart showing? Well, it's showing climate data or temperatures over time. So on the x-axis, we have the months of the year. On the y-axis, we have temperature, or specifically variation from the long-term mean, and each line represents a year. But holy cow, we can't decode these. This is crazy, right? It's a vomit bomb. Vomit colour bomb, even. They even acknowledge in their headline that this is the ugliest chart you will ever see. Brilliant bit of rage bait. But once you get into the story, there's some very serious analysis about the impact of climate change, or what's happening with climate change. So the Register are intelligent people. And I might look at this chart and think this is a terrible way to encode the data. So we can ask, what were they thinking? Because surely if you wanted to convey data, you think, well, let's choose the effective way to encode it. What's the best way to encode this data? And that's probably a bar chart or a line chart. And in this, you can zoom into the right-hand side of it and you can see this rapidly increasing variation against the mean. This surely is the better way to do this chart because it uses more accurate encoding, length, and colour appropriately. Now, it's not that index charts are bad. This is an index chart. Let's look at index charts. This is an index chart. This is showing a different data set. This is showing North Atlantic sea surface temperature. So instead of global temperature, it's the surface of the North Atlantic. But the message is the same. Things are getting warmer. And the chart is the same. So here I've used colour to highlight this year and last year. So you can see the most recent years are right at the top of the scale. You could use discrete colours to encode an ordinal measure. An ordinal field. And here I've deliberately chosen a non-sequential ordinal colour field, but I still think this is actually an effective way to get a lot of colours into a chart, if that's what you want. You could use a fully continuous chart, so each colour gets darker as we go through the years. I don't particularly like this one because it doesn't always work with every kind of data set. It kind of works with this one because we're steadily getting warmer. But the point being, when you draw index charts, when you're trying to communicate insight, you have multiple options to do effective encoding. So what was going on here? Basically, I mean, are they all the same age as me and they just love the ZX Spectrum? Shout out to my UK audience who are 45 years and older. No, I don't think that's the case. So what were they thinking? And why do I think this is one of the best charts of the year? Well, it comes down to how I found out about this chart. I didn't see it on my own browsing. Somebody sent it to me. And that somebody was a colleague at Salesforce who had nothing to do with data. But this stopped them enough to think, I'm going to share this with Andy because it's a chart and Andy does charts. And that's brilliant because it puts us into a special category of visualizations. For the first one, it engaged non-data people. I can build boring but effective. I like boring bar charts. But it might not capture people who don't normally look at data. Brilliant example is this necklace by Miriam and Stephanie. Shows pollutant levels in the atmosphere in Sheffield in November 2014. It's a necklace. I can't accurately compare day to day with this. It's cool. It engaged non-data people, which was its intent. The other thing the Register chart did was stop the scroll. We are scrolling through feeds so quickly. What does it take to stop people scrolling? Well, you can do wacky charts. The New York Times, one of the best visualization teams in the world, did this tapeworm chart in January 2022 showing COVID cases. It's a terrible way to encode data if accuracy is your goal, but boy, people stopped and clicked. So we can talk about the right ways to encode data in terms of encoding for accurate understanding, but that doesn't always make it a better chart. And so for that reason, this Register chart just highlights one of the great tensions we have as people who communicate with data. We can encode for accuracy, we can encode for engagement, and we can push and pull those levers either way, depending on very different needs. So there you go. That's my chart of the year. What about yours?